You can let the day fall away now. Whatever shape it took, whatever it asked of you, whatever it left unfinished or incomplete, you can set it down. Not because you're abandoning anything, but because you've carried it long enough for one turning of the earth. This moment, this quiet threshold between what was and what will be, belongs to rest. It belongs to you. There's a particular kind of heaviness that accumulates as light fades. Not always the weight of big things. Sometimes just the gathering of small moments, each one requiring a little attention, a little energy, a little piece of yourself. By the time darkness settles, you may not even notice how much you've been holding. The body knows, though. The mind knows. There's a tiredness that lives deeper than muscles, a fatigue that doesn't always show itself until everything finally goes quiet. And so this is where we begin, in acknowledgement of that quiet exhaustion, that sense of having moved through hours that asked much and gave what they could. You don't need to review it all. You don't need to analyze or improve or fix. Right now, in this small pocket of darkness, you're allowed to simply be tired, to be human, to need rest without having to earn it. Let your breathing find its own rhythm. You don't have to change it or deepen it or make it special in any way. Just notice it moving through you, steady and patient, the way it's been moving through you all day without you having to remember. There's something profoundly gentle in that, the way your body tends to itself, the way it knows how to keep you alive even when your attention is elsewhere. Trust that same gentle intelligence now. The mind will offer thoughts. It almost always does when things quiet down. Thoughts about what you said, what you didn't say, what you should do, what you forgot, what's waiting. These thoughts aren't enemies. They're just visitors, showing up the way thoughts do, asking for attention because that's their nature. But you don't have to give them the whole night. You can notice them the way you'd notice clouds passing across a darkening sky. Present, real, but not requiring anything from you. There's a particular kindness in allowing yourself to be exactly as you are in this moment. Not more composed, not more peaceful, not more anything. Just this version of yourself, with all the tangles and tender spots, all the unfinished edges and uncertain places. The night doesn't ask you to be different. It simply receives you, the way water receives light, the way silence receives sound. There's space here for all of it. Think of the way a room changes when candles are lit. Not brighter exactly, but softer. The light doesn't eliminate darkness. It exists within it, creating a gentle boundary between the two. That's what this ritual is. Not an erasure of difficulty, but a soft light held steady in the midst of it. A small flame of presence that says, here, now, this is enough. Your muscles have been working all day in ways you probably didn't notice. Your shoulders carrying tension like a familiar coat. Your jaw holding tightness like a secret. Your hands gripping and releasing hundreds of times. They can soften now. Not all at once. Sometimes the body needs permission more than command. So this is permission, a gentle invitation to let the holding ease, to let the weight distribute differently, to let the bones remember how to rest against the earth. There's something about nightfall that makes emotional things rise to the surface. Feelings that stayed manageable in daylight become heavier in darkness. Worries that seemed small expand into the available space. This isn't a failing. It's just what happens when the noise of the day recedes and you're left with what's actually been there all along. The night doesn't create these feelings. It just stops distracting you from them. But here's what's also true. You don't have to solve them right now. You don't have to understand them or fix them or make them go away. You can simply let them be what they are. Weather moving through, part of the vast interior landscape you carry. Some nights the weather is calm, some nights it's turbulent. Either way, you're still here, still breathing, still capable of witnessing it all with something resembling gentleness. Imagine for a moment that every thought, every feeling, every sensation is a leaf on a slow-moving river. The river is always flowing, always moving things downstream, always clearing itself. You don't have to remove the leaves yourself. You don't have to dive in and rearrange them. You can simply watch them pass, trusting that the current knows what to do. Your only task is to stand on the bank, witnessing, allowing the movement to continue without interference. This is harder than it sounds, isn't it? Because the mind wants to grab hold, to fix, to control. The mind wants to make sense of things, to create order, to prevent future pain. These are beautiful impulses in their way. They come from a desire for safety, for protection. But right now, in this darkened hour, the safest thing you can do is rest. To trust that solutions will come when they're needed, that clarity arrives in its own time, that you don't have to figure everything out before you're allowed to close your eyes. There's a softness available in surrender that feels nothing like defeat. It's more like the way a bird settles into a nest, a recognition that this place, this moment, is designed to hold you. Not perfectly, perhaps, not without vulnerability, but genuinely. The night holds you the way it's held every living thing since time folded itself into darkness and light. You're part of that ancient rhythm. You're allowed to rest within it. Think about how much of your day was spent anticipating, planning the next thing, preparing for what might come, trying to stay ahead of time itself. It's exhausting, that constant reaching forward. Here, now, you can let the future be what it will be. It's going to arrive whether you spend the night rehearsing it or not. What if, just for these moments, you pulled all that scattered energy back to this single point, this breath, this heartbeat, this small sanctuary of present awareness? The body knows how to release what it doesn't need to carry. You see this in the way tension melts when you finally lie down, the way shoulders drop when you stop asking them to hold a shape. But sometimes the release needs encouragement. Sometimes it needs permission repeated in different ways until it finally registers as true. So here it is again. You can let go of the day, of the doing, of the trying, of the story you've been telling yourself about how things should be. Just for now, just for this quiet hour. There's a particular kind of aloneness that comes with nighttime, but it doesn't have to mean lonely. It can mean sovereign. It can mean belonging entirely to yourself, without apology or explanation. In the darkness, no one needs you to perform or produce or prove anything. You can be formless, nameless, just breath and awareness, and the soft animal of your body finding its way toward rest. Listen to the quality of silence around you. Even if there are sounds, distant traffic, settling house, the hum of electrical things, there's a texture to the quiet underneath it all. That texture holds you. It's been here all along, beneath the noise and rush, waiting patiently for you to notice it again. This is where peace lives, not in the absence of sound, but in the deep stillness that exists regardless of what moves across the surface. Your mind has been making decisions all day, small ones, large ones, constant micro-adjustments and choices. It's tired from all that determining. Right now, you don't have to decide anything. Not what to feel, not what to think, not what to become. You can exist in the space between decisions, where everything is allowed to simply be as it is. This is a radical kind of rest, the kind that doesn't require improvement or progress or movement of any kind. If there's sadness present, it can stay. If there's anxiety, it doesn't have to leave before you're allowed to rest. If there's numbness or confusion or that strange empty feeling that sometimes comes at the end of long days, it's all welcome here. Not because these feelings are good or desirable, but because resistance takes energy you don't have to spend. What if the path to peace isn't through fighting what's here, but through making space for it to exist without letting it control the whole landscape? Think of the way night changes perception. Things that seemed urgent in daylight become softer edged. Colors fade into shadow. Boundaries between objects blur. There's a mercy in this dimming, a natural forgiveness built into the turning of hours. What felt harsh at noon becomes gentle at midnight, not because anything has objectively changed, but because darkness teaches a different kind of seeing, one that's less about clarity and more about acceptance. Your breathing continues, faithful and steady, asking nothing of you. In, out, rise, fall. The same rhythm that moved through your ancestors, that moves through every living thing. You're connected to an unbroken thread of breath that stretches back to the first moment life emerged. There's something both humbling and comforting in that. You're not alone in your tiredness. You're not unique in your struggles. You're part of an ancient pattern of beings who worked and worried and eventually always had to rest. The day took what it took. Maybe you gave freely. Maybe things were taken that you didn't want to give. Maybe you lost track of what was choice and what was necessity. However it unfolded, it's complete now. You survived it. You made it to this dark threshold. That counts for something. That counts for everything. There's no award for staying vigilant through the night. No prize for keeping the mind active, churning through possibilities and problems. The work of rest is its own kind of labor. The brave act of releasing control, of trusting that the world will continue turning without your constant supervision. This is your task now, not to fix or change or improve, but to soften, to yield, to let the darkness do what darkness does best, which is to erase the day's sharp edges and make everything quiet again. Imagine your thoughts as stars, countless, scattered, each one burning with its own small intensity. You don't have to visit each star, don't have to know each one by name. You can simply appreciate the vastness, the way they exist together in the dark expanse, some bright, some dim, all of them part of the same infinite sky. Your mind is like that, vast, full, but you don't have to catalog it all. You can just witness the constellation you carry, grateful for its complexity, without needing to map every point of light, the floor beneath you, the bed that holds you, the air surrounding you. These are all supporting your existence without you having to ask. There's a generosity in the physical world that we forget to notice. It holds us whether we're deserving or not, whether we're productive or not, whether we're at peace or in pieces. Right now, let yourself be held, not by effort or achievement, but by simple existence. You're here. That's the only credential required for rest. If your mind wants to rehearse conversations that haven't happened yet, let it know. Not now. If it wants to review conversations that already occurred, searching for mistakes or missed opportunities, not now. Those are daytime activities, requiring the kind of energy and clarity that nighttime doesn't have to give. Here, in this hour, you're allowed to be offline, unavailable for analysis, present only to the soft requirements of breathing and being. There's wisdom in the way animals rest. They don't torment themselves with what they could have done differently. They don't lie awake worrying about future threats that may never arrive. They feel what they feel, then they sleep, deeply, completely, with a trust that morning will bring what it brings. You carry that same animal wisdom beneath all your human complexity. It knows how to rest. It's just been covered over by layers of thought and fear and constant planning. Let those layers fall away. Let the creature you are underneath all that remembering have its turn. Notice how the darkness outside mirrors the darkness inside, that vast interior space where thoughts and feelings arise and dissolve. Both darknesses are necessary. Both contain the potential for rest, for dreaming, for the kind of restoration that only happens when we stop producing and performing. The external night gives you permission for the internal night, the softening of all the rigid places, the release of all the holding. Your heart has been beating without interruption since before you were born. It knows stamina. It knows persistence. It also knows rest, the brief pause between beats, the millisecond of stillness that allows the next pulse to come. You can learn from that rhythm, how to move and how to pause, how to give and how to restore. This is a pause, a heartbeat rest, a moment of stillness before the next pulse of life asks for your attention. There's nothing you need to become before morning. No version of yourself you need to achieve or embody. You can be incomplete, uncertain, tired, tender, raw. You can be exactly this human shape in the darkness, breathing, present, alive. That's not a failure of transformation. That's the foundation of it. Change doesn't come from rejection of what is. It comes from meeting what is with enough gentleness that something new becomes possible. If sleep comes, welcome it. If it stays distant, that's okay too. Rest isn't the same as sleep. Rest is the quality of your presence with yourself, the kindness with which you meet this moment. You can be resting even in wakefulness, as long as you're not fighting what's here, as long as you're allowing rather than forcing, as long as you're breathing into this moment rather than straining toward the next. The moon, whether you can see it or not, is doing what it does, pulling tides, reflecting light, marking time in its ancient way. You're subject to those same forces, those same rhythms. Your body knows lunar time, knows the pull of darkness and light. Even if your modern life tries to override these deeper rhythms, they're still operating beneath the surface. Let yourself sink into that older time, that slower pulse, that connection to something larger than schedules and demands. Every person you passed by during the day, every interaction you had, every moment of connection or disconnection, all of it is settling now into memory, becoming part of the sediment of your life. You don't have to sort through it. You don't have to make meaning of it all. Like water smoothing stones, time will do its work. Your task is simply to let the day become past, to let the present moment be this one, unmarked by what came before or what might come after. Think of the way plants close their leaves at night, turning inward, conserving energy. There's no shame in that closing, no failure. It's essential. It's how they survive. You're allowed the same inward turn, the same conservation of energy. You're allowed to withdraw from the world's demands, to turn your attention inward, to feed your own roots in the darkness where growth actually happens. Your worthiness doesn't depend on your productivity. Your value doesn't decrease with rest. You're not less important because you're tired, not less deserving because you need to stop. These are lies that a restless culture tells, but they're not true. The truth is simpler and kinder. You're a living being, and living beings need rest. No justification required, no explanation necessary. If there's pain in your body, breathe with it rather than against it. If there's tightness, see if you can soften around it instead of forcing it away. Sometimes the path through discomfort is gentleness, not aggression. Sometimes the solution is acceptance, not elimination. You don't have to fix everything before you're allowed to rest. You can rest with the broken places, the sore places, the tender places. They're part of you too. The darkness asks nothing of you except that you exist within it. It doesn't require productivity or positivity or any particular emotional state. It's completely indifferent to your performance, which is a strange kind of relief. You can disappoint the darkness, but it will hold you anyway. You can fail every standard you've set for yourself, and the night will still arrive, still offer its shelter, still allow you to rest. There's a particular loneliness that can come in quiet moments, when all the distractions fall away and you're left with just yourself. But loneliness and solitude are different things. Loneliness is a longing for connection. Solitude is a meeting with yourself. Right now, you have the opportunity for solitude, to be with yourself, not as a problem to solve, but as a presence to acknowledge. To notice what it feels like to be this exact person in this exact moment, without needing to be anyone else. Your breath continues its patient work, unconcerned with your thoughts about it. In, out, rise, fall. There's a meditation in simply following that rhythm, not changing it or improving it, just noticing. Each breath is complete in itself. It doesn't carry over anxiety from the last breath or prepare for the next. It simply is. You can learn from that. How to let each moment be complete. How to exist without constantly referencing past or future. If tears come, they're allowed. If they don't, that's fine too. Emotion doesn't have to perform or prove anything. It can exist as sensation, as energy moving through, as weather passing across the landscape of you. You don't have to understand it or justify it or make it mean something. It can just be what it is. Part of being human, part of being alive, part of having a heart that feels things. The night outside continues its work, settling temperature, shifting air, allowing the earth to rest from the sun's demands. You're part of that larger system, that planetary rhythm of activity and rest. When you rest, you're participating in something bigger than yourself. You're honoring a pattern that keeps everything alive. This isn't selfish or lazy or wasteful. This is essential. This is how life sustains itself. Somewhere right now, someone else is also trying to rest. Someone else is carrying their own day into darkness, hoping to set it down. You're not alone in this struggle, this tender process of release. We're all learning how to do this, how to let go gracefully, how to trust the night. There's a strange comfort in that collective fumbling, that shared human challenge of simply being tired and allowing rest. Your mind might offer one more worry, one more thing to figure out. Notice it with kindness. Thank it for trying to keep you safe, for trying to solve problems, for being vigilant, and then gently set it aside. Not because it's wrong, but because it's time. Time to let the thinking mind rest. Time to let another kind of intelligence take over. The kind that knows how to heal while you sleep, how to integrate while you dream, how to restore without conscious effort. The silence between sounds is where peace lives. The pause between thoughts is where clarity resides. The space between heartbeats is where life renews itself. You're made of these spaces as much as you're made of the things themselves. In the darkness, those spaces become more apparent. The gaps, the pauses, the emptiness that isn't empty but full of potential, full of rest, full of the possibility of beginning again. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your tongue rest soft in your mouth. Let your eyes become heavy, even if they stay open. Let every part of you that's been working know that the work is done for now. There's nothing left that must be accomplished before morning, nothing that can't wait, nothing that requires your attention right now in this darkened hour. The day is gone. Whatever it held, whatever it cost you, it's complete. You're here, at the end of it, still breathing, still present, still capable of rest. That's not a small thing. That's everything. You made it through. You arrived here. And now, in this quiet space between what was and what will be, you can simply rest. Not as a reward, not as something earned, but as something given freely by the turning of the world, by the mercy of darkness, by the simple fact of being alive. Let the night hold you the way it holds everything, without judgment, without expectation, without requiring anything in return. Let yourself be held. Let yourself rest. Let the day fall away like clothing you no longer need to wear. You're safe here. You're allowed here. You belong here. And in this belonging, in this dark sanctuary of your own being, you can finally, gently, completely rest.